He'll do a pufferfish kind of thing, and he'll suction cup the water that's in there so his head fits the inside room. And he's the astronaut octopus. He'll fuck right off.
Fucking octopuses are disgustingly smart too. Like,
They are deadly smart.
They don't need water for the most part either.
No, they don't. They're like whales.
They're
kind of
almost amphibious.
Well, actually, that's not a good way to explain it, whales. But yeah, reptiles. That's a better way to explain it. Yeah. Like, they need to be moist, or like crocodiles, kind of.
Yeah,
they need to be in water.
They're almost amphibious.
I kind of want to
give it a couple thousand years, and they might be walking on land.
Ooh.
I've played that shitty game.
They could be like the dolphins.
I played that really, really shitty game.
It was a great game.
And I got good at it.
Was that a game? That sounds familiar. That sounds like Half-Life.
Octodad.
Oh, Octodad. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I knew that game. I watched somebody play through that game.
A playthrough. There's only 4 levels.
I wasn't going to buy it. I was not going to spend my money on that.
I feel sorry.
There's actually 6 with the DLC.
I wonder how many.
Yeah, the Deadliest Catch.
What game is this?
Octodad.
What?
Look it up, Sarah.
Yeah, it's called Octodad.
I want to. Premise is great.
Just look it up.
Are you an octopus father? What?
Yes, that is exactly it. I have nothing else I need to explain.
And he's actually the dad.
Yeah, he's actually a dad.
Of an octopus?
He doesn't know he's an octopus.
No.
Of children.
Of human children.
Okay, of 8 children?
He's just...
No.
I mean, play the game.
Octopus.
What?
He's Octodad. He's an octopus.
Okay.
He's a dad. It's Octodad.
I don't know how else we can describe this to you.
It's just exactly what we're saying. It's not that hard.
An octopus that is the dad to these human children.
That's weird.
And a wife.
I don't know how else to say it.
That's weird. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. That's why we're explaining it.
You
Welcome
said
to the
it
same
now.
page.
I understand.
Welcome to the same page. Oh, cat in the background, calling out to cat fuzzies. There's an elusive black cat there.
Not a black cat.
There was. He made an appearance for a screenshot.
Stop lying. Stop lying like EA to your face about not being microtransactions in your next Dragon Age game.
Hey, I'll send you screenshots when I play it so I can show you. I'll promise that.
I'll be happy to, because I'll be happy to be like, I'll be happy to text you on the day it comes out and be like, those screenshots, eh? Where are they?
Huh? If I'll get it right away, but I will send you the screenshots when I play. And I'll talk about it.
I can't wait for all it to be behind a massive paywall to even get through half the game.
What was the game?
I mean, that would be Battlefront 2.
I recently did this to Jeremy, I thought like a year or 2 ago. That's right!
Wow, that sounds great. Wow, that sounds ominous.
Back when we started playing D&D, Jeremy was telling me he's getting excited for Cyberpunk.
Oh, yeah.
I remember looking at you, Jeremy, and saying, don't do it.
I mean, when it's finished, it'll be good, but it's still not finished yet.
One day. Just like
Fallout 76.
Just like No Man's Sky.
Cyberpunk's already talked about releasing their first DLC.
You know what? I don't understand why game developers don't just do it the Todd Howard and just embrace it and like turn all the broken aspects and just be like, no, it's
DLC.
It's no. You just say it's a perfectly designed game and just leave it.
It's part of the game, yeah.
Those are the features of the game.
Look at Skyrim. Look at it, man. Skyrim's been around for 12 years now, and it's still just as broken.
And they re-released the anniversary edition, but this time with fish.
And it's still just as broken. And he just wears it on his sleeve. He's just like, fuck it. Yeah, yeah. You love Skyrim. You love Oblivion.
This time there's survival mode, guys.
Oh, what? That giant's club knocks you 150 feet in the air and instantly kills you, and you're like level 99?
That's supposed to happen. We programmed for that random occurrence to happen every once in a while. Some reason. Somehow it will occur.
Don't make sense to me, 100%.
It's like the Wabbajack in every sense.
There is one game that I
Lumberjack's
actually
great.
was intrigued by because we were trying to play Sea of Thieves, but I'm horrible with keeping up with games. Anyone's seen that new game that's come out with like you play as a dwarf?
Oh, the dwarf digging mine game where it's
Dwarf
like
digging space mine game.
it's like you have to hold out from spiders as you dig
Spiders,
It's
stuff.
like
Yeah, it's like
Starship Troopers with space
it's like Left 4
dwarves.
Dead, but space dwarves. Yeah,
Fucking sweet. I just want to fucking throw on
I've seen people play it. It's
Glory
great.
Hammer and fucking play that.
It honestly reminds me a bit of Evolve, but without like a giant deadly creature, just a bunch of little tiny ones.
Yeah, Evolve is a dead game.
It is a dead game. It had a lot of
It's sad.
potential, though. It would have been good if it just evolved.
It's
They couldn't do it.
That game, there was too many problems. But no, I want to play that dwarf game.
You just gotta do it like Sara already said. There's no problems. It's perfectly designed.
Except when you play the monster, if you had anyone who was half decent, you could not lose.
Yeah, well, if you had a good team, I've seen people stomp with a good team, but you're right. A deadly monster would fuck shit up. That's the whole point. It's like Dead by Daylight, and that's kind of where they did it better, but Dead by Daylight's completely fucked too.
And all the good monsters were behind a paywall, like the super 10-bit store monster. So if you had that, and you had that character, every time you played as the monster, you instant won. Because you had
they had like Cthulhu monster and shit, and then that one was like cool. They had another one. When they went free to play, they unlocked them all, but then it just died at that point. Because there was nobody. There was nobody left on the game anymore to be like, "Oh, it's free to play. Let's play it anyways."
Only Counter-Strike can do that. Every Counter-Strike and Dota, because they've always been free to play.
Yeah, if you're gonna be free to play, you have to stick that way.
Every other game
you can't just be like, "Oh, now we're free."
Well, every other game that goes free to play, it's like the signal of the end. It's just
that's what happened to the Secret World. It was an MMO that I really wanted to play. That was like that. Had a lot of cool potential, and then it was like World of Warcraft at start. And then it dropped and went free to play on Steam.
Dude, I never really got into World of Warcraft, but I played this fucking shitty Japanese version called Lineage 2.
Oh, I've heard of that game, yeah. That one was kind of shit too, yeah.
I played the shit out of Lineage 2, and I had no idea what the fuck was going on. You'd have these crazy cutscenes, and it's all in English, and I'm sitting there.
I know. I played it for a bit. It's a weird fucking game. It didn't make a lot of sense. You're just dropped in some random thing with no idea what the fuck's happening, and it's just like quest on adventure.
At least Final Fantasy, man, gives you a reason to not be able to follow it. It's like it's convoluted.
I never played it. I think I played. I don't know which one was on PlayStation 1. That it was some kind of sequel. I don't remember which one. But
Trust me, man, they're all sequels.
It was beyond confusing, and it was really odd. I didn't like the concept of the giant greatsword, and I was like, nah, I think this isn't for me. And then I started playing a ninja game called Tenchu, and that game honestly completely died, but it was pretty cool for the time that it was out. A smaller equipped blade instead of a giant one.
Any more gaming news that we're missing?
Foxhole thing. I think a elusive gentleman had something to tell us about for the free to play. I think that is free. Is it? No, you pay for it, right? Pay for Foxhole. I paid for Foxhole.
Foxhole, you pay for it. It's still early access, but you pay for it.
Yeah, it's an early access service. Apparently, players in that game have been having a Reddit strike because
it's so good.
Tell us a bit about it, because I don't know much about
it. So you guys have played, at least a couple of you.
Me and C4 again.
Right?
I think Sarah's the only one that hasn't.
For anyone who doesn't know out there, it's a basic top-down war game. You can either build war machines and help.
It's a top-down, third-person war
game. Yeah.
Anyway,
right down to building trenches, farming materials, and manning and fighting the war.
And holding borders.
It's been in early access for 6 years. It's going to be.
And honestly, if you haven't checked it out, you should. I think it's a lot of fun.
It's going to be one of those early access games.
But so there's an issue with Logitech. And Logi is the scrapping and delivering of materials and building of gear and bringing it to the front lines, right? The transferring of goods. They just added another 10 or something new hexes or 12 new hexes. The map's almost double the size.
Yeah, it got bigger. I remember seeing that update too.
Okay.
And the roads haven't gotten any better, and the ability to transport materials hasn't gotten any better. If anything, it's getting more difficult.
It's harder because longer hauls.
Longer hauls, and they keep adding new tanks, new guns, new weapons, new ammo. So to focus down on certain weapons is really hard, right? You have all these people on the front lines using like their favorite weapons.
Shit. Yeah.
Right? So
there should be a limited weapon supply.
Well, it's not even the limited weapon supply. It's just to make it like simpler. There's even a colored priority list on which items they should fix first,
really?
And which ones are Oh yeah.
That's funny.
So I'm guessing all the people who just play support in the game are striking.
So the Logi Union, as they're calling themselves now on Reddit,
of course,
actually had a Twitch stream sit down with like 4 or 5 of the major like Twitch Logi streamers, and they had like a meeting, like a 3-hour meeting that you can watch or something somewhere, right?
Wow, that's great. Commitment to a game. It's impressive.
That's impressive, but it doesn't shock me.
So what the Logi players have done in Strike, because they've all voted on what they should do. Should we start attacking our own players and making the game fun? Should we fuck with the mining routes and stuff like that? And the votes have actually been the opposite. Like, they don't want to ruin other players' experience.
Yeah, they shouldn't troll the game just because the shit's not working.
Yeah, they don't want to troll the game, right? And also they don't want to break the terms of service.
That's fair.
So, like, cyberbullying and shit, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You can't in a war game. You can't
in an effort for quote unquote a non-peaceful protest. All of the major Logi players have moved to the front line, so nobody's transporting goods. Everybody's on the front line fighting.
That's hilarious. Everyone's got pistols.
Everyone's probably fighting with pistols and knives,
dude. Yeah. So like 10 days into the war. People are running out of ammo and having to fight with knives and shit.
You gotta take ammo from the dead guys, right?
Dude, and then one person walks in with a tank and guns.
It's
so cool for the concept of the war, though, too, because then imagine like in the war, where just all of a sudden manufacturing shuts down, right? Now what is the army gonna do? Now you have to fight with weapons. You got to fight back, bro.
Now it's Russia. Welcome to Russia 1944.
Japan, right? You're busting out samurai swords now. That'll be hilarious. Or like trench shovels, you're beating everybody with a trench shovel. Like,
so it's too funny.
That's great.
And then the opposite of that. So they're 2 tactics to Strike, right? One is all the major Logi players are moving to the front lines. Number 2 is all the major Logi players are actually forming suicide squads and bombing the opposite team's Logi lines. So not only are their team running out of materials, they're bombing the other team's materials. Which is
pretty good.
Well within the terms of the game. Those are guerrilla tactics, and those are actual tactics, right?
That's amazing.
It's gotten to the point where some Logi players,
absolutely amazing and ingenious.
They formed into small teams, and they sit in boats off of the coast with sniper rifles, high-powered sniper rifles, and they're shooting out the engines of these trucks.
Oh my god. And just taking out the supply trucks, not even supplying them, just destroying the trucks and moving on.
Just destroying the trucks. And no, like sitting out there way off the fucking coast in boats. And that's like awesome. 3 and 4 man sniper teams just sitting out in the boat sniping trucks. And if the truck dies and sits out in the middle of the bridge, you no longer can use that bridge until you move the fucking truck, right?
The bridge is in danger, and if you try to go out and try to move the truck, gets shot at.
So what you're saying is it's just become... That's the
if you look on YouTube, there's Logi videos.
Just destroy the resource.
If you've got 5 minutes, man, watch some of those YouTube videos because they're hilarious.
It's amazing.
That is pretty funny.
The first day, a bunch of the major front lines, like clans and stuff, are losing their shit at their own teams for not like doing Logi.
That's so great, man. And they can't get mad because then it's breaching terms of service.
So they're that's the coolest way to strike against the devs.
Oh, that's so great.
That
but that's great because the devs can advance combat now in melee in that sense, or they could fix shit properly how it should be.
The story goes on.
I would love if they fixed melee.
There are rumors because of how remember how we played 2 different or 3 different wars, right?
Yeah.
The major resources and refineries are moved around the map to make certain parts of the map more vital than others, and no war feels
they're actually thinking about the map now and tactical positioning.
They've been doing that for a while, right? So there's rumors that the devs almost formed a way of striking back because there are half as many refineries all moved to the back lines of both teams.
I see. That's interesting. But that still makes a choke point.
So there's this huge open area, like center area, dead man's land, right?
That's so dumb.
That's where these fights are coming down to pistols and knives.
Yeah, it's just gonna be these guys fighting in scrapyards with pistols and knives.
I might actually go back on the game.
That's so funny. That is absolutely hilarious.
So we're 5 minutes away from the hour. Is there anything anyone wants to close on?
Oh man.
Trying to debate whether I should go to bed or finish reading the last 40 pages of The Hobbit to crush a 14-year-old.
Why don't you just look at this?
That's what we'll end on. We're going to end on that. That's right. Thank you for reminding me. Sara the Viking is amazing.
I like that you're trying to get back at a student by learning.
Do you want to tell the story, Sara? I think it's your story. You should probably end on this.
The kids that I work with, they have to read 3 novels this year. Literally one. They have 3 terms in the year, so 1 each term.
Okay.
This term started in November and it ends at the beginning of March. And we've got a few kids who just hate reading, but we've got one who's so cool about it and he just complains and whines every time his teacher tells him to read a book. And it makes me so angry. Because he's so annoying about it. And this is a smart kid with good academic skills and all of that. And he just whines and complains.
Oh, he just doesn't like reading, to be honest.
So I tried to help him find a book he would like, and he was talking about how he watched The Hobbit and enjoyed it. So I was here, read the book. It's not a very long book. And he read the first 2 sentences and then started whining that it was boring, which is ridiculous because the first 2 sentences of The Hobbit are amazing.
Right, maybe Aragon. That might be a good start. Aragon it's similar to The Hobbit. It's not very good, to be honest, story-wise, but if he likes the setting kind of style.
It would take too long, so I told him.
That's what I mean. Aragon's a short book. There's technically 3 books, but it's just 1 book.
Let her finish.
He was complaining it would take too long, so I told him I'd read it at night, and I mostly did.
Oh yeah.
I didn't do it last night when I first said I would do it though, because it turns out we had to lent out our copy of it, and the only other copy we had was in Latin, and I can't read The Hobbit in Latin in a night.
It's not hard. It's 1 book, The Hobbit.
No. What we need to focus on is that flex. To look at a 14-year-old kid and be like, yeah, I could read Hobbit in the night. Oh, if I had more time, I could probably do it in Latin, but
yeah, I guess you could say that too, but
no, that's what this is.
That's what
a flex! What a flex!
Calm down.
No, it's great.
I think it's.
As an English major, that's the best flex ever. Oh yeah, I can read this book in a night. If I had 2, I could do it in Latin.
Yeah.
I would think he might. Maybe the kid would appreciate smaller, short story fantasies.
He is required to read a book that is at least 225 pages.
Okay, fair enough.
And appropriate for his age level.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, he probably just doesn't like reading them, to be honest.
He's not a little kid.
Yeah.
What about The Witcher? That's a great book series.
Maybe. But no,
you know what?
Sure. That could be a start,
you know what?
too.
You should trick him. Honestly, a teacher did this to me when I was in high school.
That's what you should do as a teacher. You trick kids into learning.
No. They did this to me in high school, but you could probably do this to this kid, because if he's being that coy, tell him there's this great book from the 1600s called The Leviathan. and say what when we ask you what's it about, it's like, well, Leviathan is one of the greater demons of hell, which is what the book is named after.
That's not going to work.
He'll pick it up and he'll get 20 pages in, and he'll be confused and he'll keep reading, and then next thing you know, he'll have read Thomas Hobbes' Leviathan.
That's not going to work.
I read that book.
I tried handing him a bunch of books by a Christian author who is really good. And he looked at them, had no clue who the author was, and said, I'm not going to read those. He's... Oh, what's the word?
It's probably just not
the wrong kind
religious
of
and just not,
like,
not interested in reading either. I bet the Bible doesn't go over very well with him.
Get over yourself.
I mean, I imagine for the school, he has to read a certain line. But he probably just doesn't like longer stories where he has to commit to.
He just doesn't like
Short
reading
attention span.
and won't try it. Claims he's never read a book. Drives me crazy.
Oh, so he just wants attention.
Has he?
No.
Has he ever gone to
Yes.
has he ever had group reading time as a child? I mean, I had that as a kindergartner.
I don't know. Education is different now.
I guess,
yeah, education's different now. You can't tell kids to fucking read a book.
I mean,
book reports were a thing.
This kid is perfectly capable, so basically what we've come down to is if he doesn't do it, he just fails. So,
you know, it's funny when my
class his English teacher next year. I mean, that's fair.
I found when I had those book reports, I didn't really care too much to read for school. I did enjoy reading myself. When I was told I had to find a book that was a specific word limit, I would look for a book that had the exact amount of pages. I'd be like, all right, what book do I like that has these amount of pages that I could get away with so I don't have to read that much, just do a quick fucking book report.
He's not looking for a book. He's just mining.
When I did my book reports,
the goal was trying to finish the assignment, right?
See, look, when I did my book reports and did my reading as a kid, they would always give you the suggested list, but I would go out of my way to find the most brutal and just off the list books I could find. I've read this one book called Daniel's Story, which is from the perspective of a Jewish boy watching his parents burn in Auschwitz. And I did a book report on it in grade 6.
Wow.
And the teacher's face was just... And I'm like, wow. Oh man, I got A's on that one. That was easy. And
I imagine
that was easy.
I had to read Night for one of my English classes.
Oh, that's another great book. That's another.
That is amazing.
Book. Yeah.
Honestly, it was a great one. I felt really hard for that one. It made me appreciate certain things a lot more when I read that book.
It's a great book, but I would go out of my way to I read for high school Shakespeare when everyone in fucking grade 12 was reading fucking Taming of the Shrew, one of the shittiest Shakespeare plays. I honestly looked at my English teacher and said, I'm not reading it. I'm going to read Titicus Andronicus. I'm going to do Titicus Andronicus. And she looked at me, she's like, what? It's like, yeah, I'm going to do the play that I want to do. And and my English teacher just baffled. And everyone's doing the report on fucking Taming the Shrew, and I'm like, so I did Titicus Andronicus. The play starts with a woman, and she's then hit over the head with a rock. She's then brutally raped, and then to prevent the rape, her tongue is ripped out, her eyes are gouged.
You had to push the letter, I see.
And no, it's it's Shakespeare.
It's a good story, but I mean,
Shakespeare. This is Shakespeare.
The most brutal.
It's not horrifying.
Oh, dude! Yeah. And then I did The Tempest in grade 11 instead of Macbeth because Macbeth is boring. I did The Tempest. I did the racist play, and then
the racist.
Oh yeah, The Tempest is so racist.
The Tempest is a bad one.
It's a really bad one. And then instead of Romeo and Juliet, I did A Winter's Tale, and that one's just about incest. That was I just did
that's a wild one.
And but every time I went to my English teacher, I was like, "Fuck you." Well, not really, but I said I'm doing this play because this play sucks, and this play sucks, and this play sucks. So I'm going to do these plays. Well, that's not part of the curriculum. No, your curriculum says Shakespeare. Yes?
No, it doesn't. It says what play.
Well,
it gives you a choice too.
Well, maybe it's changed then.
Because things definitely have changed.
It didn't stop me. And I got A's.
I think that's just because you're pretty unstoppable when you set your mind to something.
I mean, as a teacher, if a student came up to me with a different book in mind, I don't think I would stop them, dude. You're pretty. You seem pretty driven to do the assignment just with a different play. Fuck, sure, man. Like, do the assignment. Like, I want to see how well you do
when
it.
your hands are pretty tied by the.
I guess when you're also like,
I think as a teacher, I would probably bullshit a little bit for my students.
You're also like,
in like he still did the assignment, even if it wasn't this specific one.
And they're an inner city high school English teacher, and you have some metalhead who actually likes English compared to the 400 other students you have a day that could give a fuck about what you're saying.
He's pulling out some gruesome shit. I would probably talk about it later.
Wasn't even that hard. Probably just called the super and is like, so this kid actually cares about English, so we're just gonna let him do what he wants.
Yeah, because I mean,
them either, but
it's probably a problem. You know, if he had problems with things with learning, and you're like, oh my god, I want to do this play. Like, fuck yeah, dude, do the play. Like,
the one place you might have trouble with that is
probably a Catholic school. I would imagine.
I don't know, Sarah. I just know I did the 3 Shakespeare plays I wanted to, while everyone else did the stupid and the worst part is they get
they pick the worst ones. Like they pick the worst.
The picture books, and they're like picture books, and they like have every single line like broken up, and I'm like reading. I'm like, I can't read this. This isn't a play. This is just a fucking textbook. You know, like I'm gonna go read. I actually have it, like a fucking thick book that has all Shakespeare plays that I bought in high school, and that's what I used through high school. Is
I read Othello, and the book for Othello was just so
another really racist play, but that's good. It was Othello's really good.
I like the story. When my teacher showed us a movie of it, like an adaptation for a modern version of it. And it was really good. Like, I love the story itself, but the book, reading the book, when they gave us the book, I was just like, it felt so dry in the book.
There's a lot of
Julius Caesar for fun ones.
We're gonna end on this with Othello because I do got to go to bed. We should wrap up. But just so you know, there's a lot of conjecture about Othello because when Othello was written, there was a famous noble in the French court, whose great grandson or grandson wrote a very famous book called The Three Musketeers.
Oh,
I see. Okay.
So
that's
yes,
cool.
He was a black noble. I'm trying to think of the name so I don't mess it up. But it was a lot of conjecture when Othello came out because Othello was seen as a direct dig towards this noble.
I wanna call it something since it's Black History Month. I want to say I learned about.
Oh hey, we had a Black History. What a great way to end.
I also learned about an African samurai, and he was like given his own noble house back in the day. I think his name was Yasuka. Yeah. I was so impressed to hear about that. I just want to shout out because I appreciate all people, and that's super amazing to hear. And I didn't know that. Awesome. That was something I learned, and I was like, "That's so cool!" I love learning more about different cultures.
There was a black samurai, and in case you didn't know, the writer of the Three Musketeers. Fuck! Why can't I think of his name? It's holy crap.
Oh, I know this.
I know this too.
I don't know it. I'm not an English major. I don't know.
I don't know why I can't remember. That's gonna kill me.
For those who know, be sure to let us know.
Alexander Dumas.
Alexander Dumas.
There you go.
Alexander Dumas.
Yeah, I've heard that name before.
I can't remember if it's his grandfather or great grandfather. It was believed at the time when Othello came out, and the French court protected him because it was believed as it was basically an English jab at the French court. Yeah, but still, very famous Alexander Dumas. That's actually,
very famous.
Want to know a random fun fact of Shakespeare? Yeah. What was his son named?
Son?
His son.
Not son. Son. Goku.
Idea.
Hamnet, like Hamlet, but with an N. Guess you like the name.
Haha, and that's the Villains Talk Show.
I'm sorry. You had nothing better to do tonight, but I'm glad you spent it with us here. I'm C4. That was Sara the Viking. We're also with the elusive general, Insanieac, and the great greasy boy. And we are the Villains Talk Show. We will see you Friday for Friday 2 Shots, or we'll see you next week for the next podcast show special thing. Yay!
Wonderful guests. We'll talk to you later. Have a good night. I love you.
I love writing music.